It was merely the document that we could use to give to the people who don't get it yet so they could start following. Or even more technical, Avinash Kaushik. How many of you know Avinash? Fewer, but still an amazingly large number. Another bestseller from an unknown author in 12 languages so far. Why? Because Avinash goes around the world meeting with tribes of people who are obsessed with measurement and analytics. Yes, there are people like that. And when Avinash meets them, he connects them to each other. Autodesk didn't realize there were all these other people at Autodesk who were obsessed with his way of looking at the world, but there were. And by creating a center where there didn't used to be one, he was able to connect people who desperately wanted to be connected to create a tribe. In the offline world, in the physical world, let's talk about the M.Dot triathlon. Turns out there's triathlons all over. I didn't tell that guy to tattoo the word tribe to his leg. He just did. Turns out that you can run a triathlon in your backyard if you live near a body of water, right? All you got to do is swim 2 miles and do all that other stuff. Why then, if you didn't qualify for the real triathlon, the M.Dot triathlon, the one in Hawaii, why would you pay $40,000 to enter a race you know you're going to lose? Right? Because if you didn't qualify, you're going to lose. Because it's a tribal event. The M.Dot people are rolling in money because they figured out how to unite this group of people that had no one uniting them. Interesting rule about tribes. I've got a few here, some of which I learned from you in the online tribe thing. The reverse Groucho rule. Groucho Marx famous for saying, I don't want to be a member of any club that would have me. The reverse Groucho rule is, I don't want to be a member of any club that would have you. And then one of the challenges, think about that for a minute, one of the challenges that you have if you want to lead them on a tribe is that lots of tribes don't want to let other people in. Lots of tribes are quite content to keep it small, quite content to keep it special. Leave the riffraff out, please. And then overcoming that becomes important if you've made the choice that you need a big tribe. There are two things you can do with a tribe. One thing you can do with your tribe is you can make it tighter. Right? So you can take the existing group you've got and get them more committed. The Hare Krishnas are good at this. You got to wear the outfit, you got to be a vegetarian, you got to shave your head, you got to sing the songs. So it's not easy to become a Hare Krishna, but once you're in, you're in. The other thing you can do though is you can make your tribe bigger. That by making the tribe bigger, you simulate this sort of power. Oprah Winfrey's tribe keeps getting bigger. You know why? Because it only takes 2 hours to join. You watch the TV show, you're in. It's free, you're done. And so she has a big tribe, but not nearly the impact per person that the Hare Krishnas have. This decision becomes important because if you look at the entire universe of the world, it's very easy to say, wait a minute, you can't come, you're a sports fan. You can't come because I don't like you. You can't come because this. And then over time, as tribes get more and more exclusionary, they may get more pure, but they also get a lot smaller. And then what you need to do as you approach this problem, this challenge, is you got to think in advance, what kind of tribe do you want? Would it be possible for this event to have 2,000 people at it if I had promoted it in a different way and been more aggressive and spent more money? Probably. But it wouldn't have been worth nearly as much because it wouldn't have been the right people. You're the right people. You're the right people because it wasn't that easy to get here. It wasn't that easy to find out about it. It wasn't that easy to jump through all the hoops. That's on purpose because it makes it tighter. And once it's tighter, it makes it more likely that the people who are doing it are committed. And when people are committed, things get done. That, in fact, you are no longer a marketing manager. Managers, by the way, don't lead. Managers take yesterday's work and do it again tomorrow, but a little cheaper. They know what they want and they know how it's done. Leaders aren't sure what's going to happen next. They just have a vision. That's what leadership is, unveiling the future. So I compare, say, Duran Duran to someone who's leading a tribe. Duran Duran does a comeback. They do their album. They put up billboards. They put up the website with all the rollovers and the JavaScript. And it's a failure. Because they're just yelling at people. There's no Duran Duran tribe. They abandoned the tribe 20 years ago. And they just left them alone. And instead of coming back and organically growing this group of people, they just started yelling and hoped that people would come back. Whereas the Red Sox, if they're Red Sox fans, this is when usually they sigh. The Red Sox looked at the world and they said, wait, we won the World Series, but we're not going to win every year. We can't get a new stadium because this one's the one we got. So how are we going to grow? they decided to do things like hire all-star Japanese baseball players at high salaries. Why? It extends the tribe into a whole new country. They decided to create garb and clothing and expressions that could be transcending geography and connect people who want to be against the Yankees, who like being underdogs, and it's worked. Nature Conservancy, figuring out how to build a brand that people are willing to tattoo on the back of their head. Another decision about tightness versus scale. Now, one thing you got to understand is that every market has people who might join your tribe. But not everyone will ever join any tribe. If everyone joins every tribe, it's not a tribe anymore. Oxygen breathing, that's not a tribe. It's just something everyone does. So you may have something for the yellow circles, but not the purple circles. And you need to think about the fact that you're never going to convert everyone, that you don't need to convert everyone. All right, so this is the point at which I get annoyed. Because what a lot of people want to know is tell me exactly how to do this. Tell me what I should do tomorrow to make this work. Now, it's fun to riff about what you might do. That this tribe that many of you belong to, which has thousands of people in it, we learned a lot doing it. But the stuff that we learned is useless to you because it's just a tactic. When I did a Wordle word map of my book, and what's fascinating about it is if you look at the words that show up the most often, they have nothing to do with what you should do exactly tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. That's not my job. My job is to make you uncomfortable enough that you're not doing something, that you will start looking at the opportunities in front of you and find the path to get there. That the problem, the challenge that organizations of every stripe have isn't that they can't do this, it's that they're not sold on wanting to do it. And that what we need to do before we're going to get the leadership we deserve, the leadership that we need, is we're going to decide that we need the leadership. Once we decide we need it, we're going to find it. So you could put up statues. That's a tactic that works. It builds long-term, multi-generational tribes. But wait a minute. These guys don't have any statues. And they don't have any of the dogma that someone else might have, but it worked for them. You take a look at a politician. The first time Al Gore was out there trying to build a tribe, he failed and didn't end up getting the White House. The second time, he used a completely different set of tactics and changed the way the world thought about global warming. You might not know this, but more than 1,000 people have paid money, gone to Nashville, and been trained in how to give Al Gore's slideshow. And every single night, somewhere, dozens of people are giving it. That it grows. They teach other people how to give it, and it grows. Here are two tribe leaders. What exactly do they have in common? It's not clear to me that I could say, these tactics are right and these tactics aren't right, or vice versa. That the tactics aren't as important as the results that you get. So if I look at CrossFit, a group of slightly mentally unhinged people who do insane exercises in gyms at night, outdoors, in the dark, and that post pictures of themselves ripping tendons and hurting themselves and bleeding and calluses. The point is that they do it because they want to. And that Coach Gary, who leads the tribe, figured out how to work with this tribe the way this tribe needed to be worked with. And as a result, there's tens of thousands of people across the country. Every time he opens a new gym or one of his followers opens a gym, it's instantly sold out. The classes are full, not because he's talking to me or to you, but he's talking to somebody else who really needs to hear it. And he's leading them the way they need to be led. So this is Laura Fitton. How many of you follow Laura on Twitter? A bunch. So Laura, stay-at-home mom, 2 kids, starts Twittering a couple years ago. Now she has thousands of people following her, and she makes a really good living consulting about social media. With no fancy business cards, no office, she works from home, and she's raising 2 kids. Why? Because she figured out how to lead a group of 2 or 3 or 4,000 marketers online, 180 characters at a time. And that idea that the tactic doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's Facebook or a stamp. It doesn't matter if you're doing it over the PA system at a school or marching down the street in the developing world. The tactic isn't the key. The key is getting in sync with the people who are actually going to be connected. There's this